Most people have heard of a condo or a condominium. You know what makes a specific piece of property a condo? I'm Dave with the Bolduc Realty Group. I'm a licensed broker in the state of Connecticut. If you've decided that a condo is the right fit for you, most of the buying process is the same as buying any other property. I've gone through that in great detail in a 4-part series called The Home Buyer's Experience. There'll be a link somewhere up here. This video is intended to cover the differences when buying a condo. Your mileage may vary depending on your financial situation and the association you decide to buy in. Your agent can help you with that. Let's start with a definition. So a condominium is a form of ownership where you own from the 4 walls in. The exterior and all the other parts of the association are common elements. Exterior would include the roof, siding, things like that. Common elements could include the land, parking lots. If you have a gym or a visitor center or anything like that, that would all be considered common elements. Windows and balconies or decks that are attached to individual units are referred to as limited common elements. We'll talk a little bit more about those in a minute. As I covered in part 1 of my video series, Home Buyer's Experience, entitled Before You Look, there are 5 focus areas: needs versus wants, pick your team, market conditions, financial health, and how it works. As you're writing down your needs versus want, it may become apparent that a condo is the right fit or not the right fit. If you're looking for minimal maintenance and yard work, a condo might be the right fit. If you're looking for a lot of privacy and a big vegetable garden, maybe not. When you pick your team, this may sound obvious, but tell your lender and your agent that you want to get into a condo. That way they can focus on the right properties and the right lending products. When checking your financial health, the HOA is a monthly fee that needs to be taken into account, and it can limit your buying power, so the lender needs to know about that as well. You still have to understand market conditions, and your team members should spend a bunch of time going through the process so that you know how this is going to work out. In part 2 of my Home Buyer's Experience series titled In the House, there are 4 focus areas. Those are the same focus areas when you're buying a condo. When you're searching for a condo online and in person, in addition to looking at the number of bedrooms, bathrooms, square footage, if there's a garage, all that stuff, you also want to take note of the HOA fee, what's included in that HOA fee, if there's any special assessments, if there's any age restrictions, and what the pet policy is. This should all be in that MLS listing. You may be able to filter out some condos without even going to look at them just based on those pieces of information. Why do we want to worry about things like age restrictions, pet policies, HOA fees, all that stuff? Well, there are some associations have age restrictions, typically 55 plus or 62 plus. There's eligibility requirements to buy in those condo associations, so you need to know what those are. Some associations do not allow pets. Others limit the number of pets, the breed, the size, so you want to be aware of that, especially if you're a pet owner or plan to be one. The HOA fee, the common elements, and special assessments, they're good indicators of the health of the condo association. While more amenities typically translate into a higher HOA fee, it's not always the case. The HOA fee may seem expensive at first, but you want to look at what you get for that and how much you would have to pay if you bought those services separately. Let's keep that in mind. A high HOA and few amenities may indicate past and or current mismanagement of the HOA. You want to pay attention to that. If you buy into that association, you're going to be paying those higher fees as well. One condo I sold recently had a $450 a month HOA fee, not too many amenities. Another one had a $1,200 a month HOA fee, but it had unbelievable amenities, including its own ski slope, its own horse barn, hiking and biking trails, an indoor and outdoor pool, multiple gyms, you name it, there was a lot going on. The question here is that HOA fee in each case justified? That's up to you. When you actually go to the property, pay attention to the exterior as well as the interior of the property. Roads, parking lots, landscaping, roof siding, everything. Pro tip, look at the designated parking in relation to your unit and also visitor parking. Poorly maintained common elements indicate a poor management of the HOA. Deferred maintenance will have to be paid for at some point. The longer the delay, the more likely it's going to be more expensive. If the HOA does not have the money from the fees to cover it, then the owners are going to be assessed through a special assessment. The association, the owners, must vote to approve that special assessment. So stay involved with the HOA. Go to the meetings, read the announcements. The purpose, amount, and duration of a special assessment would be known before the vote actually happens. This segment of the video is not intended to turn you off to HOAs. It's a reality, and I want you to be going in eyes wide open. Keep in mind why you decided to originally buy the condo. There are positives related to convenience, community, amenities that counterbalance that HOA fee. Also, remember, maintenance and repair costs are going to be real for all properties, and the owners always bear those expenses. As you look at more properties, you're going to learn more and more about your needs and wants. Update those needs and wants as you go, just like when you're looking at any other property. Also, keep in mind the market conditions. Sense of urgency is important here. If you're interested in a property, go look at it. It may not be around for long. I just had a client reach out to me, say they wanted to go look at a condo. They weren't available for several days. The owner had just dropped the price. There was a lot of activity. By the time my client actually had time to go see it, it was already under contract. Once you found the condo you want, it's time to write the offer. Just like in part 4 of my Home Buyers Experience video series, Your Offer, when you're crafting an offer, your job is to convince the seller that you are the best buyer. Thinking back to the market conditions, when you're in a buyer's market, you have a lot more flexibility. When you're in a seller's market, a lot less. Your offer is going to consist of a price and then terms, including dates, inspections, and other contingencies that you need to convince your seller that you're the best buyer. When estimating the property value in order to get an offer price, make sure you use truly comparable condos. While it's usually not a problem in a big complex with a lot of condos, in smaller complexes, there may not be any recent sales to use. Be very careful about using other condos in a different complex. They may not be apples to apples. Value of a condo has to do with location, amenities, quality of the work, the health of the HOA, and a lot of other factors. Be very careful about this. A couple of things to think about if you're going to finance the purchase of your condo. Number one, some condos are not FHA approved or not VA approved. Some reasons for that can be not enough financial reserves. There might be too many rented condos, or there might be too many condo owners who are behind on their HOA fees. Make sure you are aware of this and talk to your lender and your agent about it beforehand. Pro tip here, if it's not approved, ask your agent if you can get, or in lender, if you can get a spot approval. The second thing that I want to talk about there is HOA fees and special assessments are included in your monthly expenses when your lender's looking at how much you can afford. Keep that in mind. Key dates such as an inspection period, your mortgage commitment if you're doing financing, and closing dates are the same. There is an additional key date for the condo resale package. We'll talk about this in a little while. Once you've crafted the strongest offer that you can to convince the seller that you're the best buyer, it's in the hands of the seller. Part 4 of the Home Buyers Experience video series deals with all the activity from contract to closing. Like the rest of the buying process, the majority is the same. There are some significant differences that I'm going to cover right now. When selling an existing condo, the seller must provide you with a condo resale package. This is usually provided after the inspection period is completed. Note, new construction condos are a little bit different, so we're not covering these right here. The resale package includes a lot of important information. Pro tip, this is where you find out what is a common element and what's a limited common element and who's responsible for taking care of limited common elements. So keep that in mind. Read and understand this information. If you're unsure what something says or means, your best bet is contact your attorney. If there's red flags, ask questions first. You'll have 5 business days to review the information. This is an extra escape clause that's not available in other types of purchases. If you see something don't like, you can exit and get your deposit back. Silence is acceptance though, so make sure that you provide any issues in writing before the end of that 5-day period. Your agent can help you with that. Don't take this step lightly. Once you buy into the property, You are part of the association and you're responsible along with all of the other owners for any obligations that the association has. Make sure you understand what you're getting into. Your agent, your attorney, and your accountant, they can help you. The final decision is yours. From this point, the lender will work with you to get all the documentation in place. Your attorney will take care of title work and get all the documentation on their end in place. When everything's ready, the attorney's going to schedule the closing and you're going to get busy signing. Some common questions that I get from condo buyers: can we replace the fill in the blank? The carpet, the kitchen, the bathroom. Can we finish the basement? So the answer is generally yes. You have the interior of the property. You can do what you want with it. A couple of caveats. Talk to the property manager or the association to make sure there's no rules that you're violating. And you also may need permits from the town, so keep that in mind. Another question is, can we take down the wall? Usually between the kitchen and dining room, or dining room, living room, between two smaller bedrooms. Check with the property manager and the association on this. You must determine if it's a load-bearing wall. Not surprisingly, associations tend to discourage owners from changing the structural integrity of the building. So just ask before you do anything related to that. Another one that's very common is, can I plant flowers or plant a garden outside? This is association dependent. Again, ask the property manager or the association. Usually the association owns the exterior as a common element, and they want to make sure the landscaping is consistent across the entire complex. There are associations that allow you to plant stuff. You have to ask. Closing on your new condo can be exciting and maybe a little bit overwhelming. Make sure that you have a strong team beside you to help you guide you through the process and avoid all the common pitfalls that are out there. I hope this answers your questions to buying a condo in Connecticut. Drop any other questions down in the comments and I will get an answer for you. Have a great day.